Hi, I'm Lucky. I'm a professional makeup artist with over 30 years experience, and I promised I would come on here and talk to you all about under eye problems and what you can do about them. If you think that this is going to help you out, then give me a like and maybe hit subscribe. It's up to you. Anyway, let's talk about the face and especially under the eyes, because when we address problems under the eyes, everyone says that they have under eye bags, but there's lots of things going on with the face. So the first thing that you need to do is make an assessment about what is going on under your eyes. Now, I gave some examples in my last video, which you can check out, but I'm going to address those different types of problems. Firstly, I wanted to talk about shading and highlighting, because this is absolutely crucial when it comes to makeup, that you have to have some sort of base understanding about what happens with contour and highlight. So essentially what happens is that the face is three-dimensional, and anything that is lighter than your skin is going to look like it's coming closer to you. And anything that's darker is going to start to recede. You want to keep this in mind when you are fixing or, kind of shading and highlighting your face to get rid of any problems. So a good way that I can kind of demonstrate this very quickly is by drawing a circle. So this, we start out with a circle. How do we make this look three-dimensional? Well, we start to add shade and highlight. So I'm just going to scribble a little bit very quickly, because you're not here to watch a darn art class. But until we add some dimension to it, it is a circle. As soon as we start to shade it, it starts to look more like a ball. And this is one of the things you want to keep in mind when you are shading and contouring your own face, especially under the eyes. So I don't have any concealer on today, and I intentionally lit myself in not such a flattering way, which is essentially overhead light. And I'm gonna put on another light so you can really get the picture. So I have bags under my eyes. It's actually what's happening. So right underneath my eye is protruding, and then it recedes underneath, and that's what's giving you the illusion of like a little pouch or a little bag there. So I'm going to show you how to fix a bag under your eye. The first thing that you want to address is any sort of discoloration. Now, regardless of your skin tone, this is going to apply. Obviously, the shades are going to be slightly different based on whatever your skin tone is. But the first thing that you want to address is any discoloration. Now, most people have a little bit of bluey green tone or a darker tone that sits especially right here on the inner edge of your nose here. A vein sits very close to the surface of the skin there. And so I am going to take, Jones Road actually was kind enough to send me these. Thanks, Jones Road. And they're very easy to use. This is a pencil that is a color corrector, and I think it's called Peachy. I'll write it in the comments. It's something with peach in it. And peach is going to help counteract any sort of bluey tone. Now, when it comes to color correction under the eyes, I know that you could look at the color wheel and say, well, I have some redness, so I'm going to put green on, and that doesn't always work. Essentially what happens is that if you color correct in such an extreme way, it can make under your eyes look a little gray and a little dead. So for most people, peachy tones, orangey tones work really well, sort of an apricot, peachy, pinky tone, depending on the tone of your skin. So I'm going to take this peachy color, and I am going to get rid of this little bluey tone that I have just under the eye. Now, what happens a lot on social media is that people will give you this one size fits all thing, like, oh, you have to put your concealer in a big triangle here and you have to put a bunch over here, and no. Maybe, sure, if that's your thing, but if you want your makeup to look very, very natural, I'm going to show you how to do it. And these Jones Road pencils are great because you can be very precise with them. And I believe that one of the most common problems that I see with people's makeup is that they misplace their concealer or use too much concealer. Now, you can already see that this is starting to help. So I'm going to use a little brush, and I am not going to rub, I'm just going to press. You could do this with your fingertip if you wanted to, but my nails don't let me get in there. So I'm going to use a little brush and just tap, tap, tap over that area. As you stipple, the product will start to warm up on your skin and blend out like so. Next, I'm going to take a shade that's slightly darker than my skin. Not really dark, but just ever so slightly darker, or maybe even kind of the same shade as the rest of my skin. Definitely not lighter. This is shade 10 from Jones Road. And remember how we were talking about whatever sticks out looks closer to you, and whatever is darker recedes. So what I want to do, because I've got this little bag here that protrudes right under my eye, I want that to kind of get pushed back a little bit. So I'm going to take this shade 10 and I'm going to put this where my eye is protruding. Again, already starting to balance out. So I'm going to take the same brush that I used before, and again, pat, 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 just to blur the edges and really kind of press the product into my skin. Like so. Again, already making a big difference. And now I want to take a lighter color to counteract the darkness that's happening here, the natural shadow that's happening under my eyes. So I'm going to use the Jones Road Concealer Stick. This is shade 7. And I'm just going to hit only where I see a shadow under my eye. And again, see, I don't want to rub and blend everything all together, but I do want there to be kind of a seamless transition. So that it still has a skin-like appearance. Much better. That is how you fix an eye bag. Okay, I'm just going to take a wipe and remove what I've got on so that we can look at the next problem, which is a hollowed out under eye. And a hollowed under eye is where it's the opposite problem that I have, where directly under the eye, it immediately starts to recede and this area protrudes a little bit. So we're going to pretend that I have a hollowed out eye, and I'll show you how to fix that. And hopefully, hypothetically, you get what I'm doing. So I'm going to use those same 3 colors from Jones Road. Again, I'm going to start with the peachy tone. And I'm going to knock out that little bluey vein with this peachy tone If you have darker skin, then I would use more of an orangey apricot tone. And I'm going to take the brush and press that into the skin. Be gentle, but use a little bit of pressure. Now I'm going to take the Jones Road Concealer Stick in shade 7, which is the lighter color. Now, because we want under here, if this was pushed back further and hollow right under the eyes, we would need something lighter to give the illusion that it's coming out so that it balances out the face. So I'm going to use shade 7, and let's pretend that I have a hollowed out eye here. This is actually going to give me the opposite effect of what I want for a bag under the eye, but I'm just doing this for all y'all that have a hollow under your eye. So the lighter shade is going to go inside of the hollow. Press that in. And now you're going to take your darker shade. I know that it feels like a lot to have like 3 different concealer colors, but really, how many lipsticks do you buy? How many foundations do you buy, or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, buy stuff that makes sense for your face. Just don't buy every eyeshadow palette in the world that you're never going to use anyway. So this is the darker Jones Road pencil. This is shade 10, and this is actually going to go on the part of the eye that, with a hollowed eye, starts to protrude. You would put that, the darker tone, underneath to give the illusion of that pushing back. And again, blend, 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 blend. You get the idea. And you can see that on me, because I have bags under my eyes, it's giving the illusion that I have more of a bag under my eye because I'm using a lighter color and it's pulling forward. This is why you don't want to look at every influencer who's just going, hey, put a brighter concealer all under your eye. That does not work for some faces. Make an assessment of what your features are before you start fixing them. And that's what you would do for a hollowed eye. You would put the lighter color in here and the darker color through the protrusion that's happening under your orbital area here. And go back in with my wipe, and the third, like, most common, I hate calling them problems because they're not problems, they're just like your face, but maybe you don't want to see it there every day. But the third issue is people who have hyperpigmentation, and this happens for a number of reasons. Yes, sometimes it has to do with stress or lack of sleep or diet, but really sometimes it's just hereditary, and it is what it is. And I'm sure that we've all seen those videos that were going around a number of years ago that were people using like red lipstick and plastering it under their eyes. In theory, that works, but let's calm down. And for this, I'm going to, again, pretend that I have this hyperpigmentation under my eye. Maybe it's up on my eyelid as well. That's also very common. I'm going to take my color corrector color. This is the pinky, this is called, what is this called actually? Light peachy pink. So depending on your skin tone, you would use a slightly deeper pink or a deeper peach or a more orangey tone. And in this case, you would use the corrector color and cover everywhere that has hyperpigmentation. So if you have that on your lid, I'm just doing this for the sake of a demonstration, but you would cover everything. And it's going to look kind of bizarre. It's going to have a peachy pinky cast to it at first. And Blend, blend, blend. Now, once you have color corrected, you would take the color that is the closest to your skin tone and blend that over top. And depending on the formulation, you may want to powder in between steps. Also depends on how oily the skin is around your eye area. Just gonna go in with a color that is like my skin tone right on top of the color corrector. And I'm gonna blend that out. If you're a little confused as to what is going on with your face, I know that I keep saying make an assessment and maybe you don't know how. You could always ask your friends, or you can go into many places. There's lots of pharmacies that have makeup sections that have people who are versed in makeup. They're available to help you. You can go to any department store or Sephora, etc., and someone will help you make an assessment of what's going on with your face. I hope that this was helpful, and have a beautiful day, everybody.